Before we dive into the drama, a quick note. This video is based on publicly reported court testimony, filings, and media coverage about Sean Diddy Combs' ongoing trial as of May 23rd, 2025. All allegations are just that, allegations, and Diddy is presumed innocent until proven guilty. We're here to break down the tea for entertainment and discussion, not to judge or speculate beyond what's out there. Big respect to all victims and those involved, and we trust the court to handle the rest. Yo, what's good, fam? Strap in, cause we're diving into the absolute chaos of Sean Diddy Combs' trial, and this is messier than a reality TV reunion. We're talking break-ins, Molotov cocktails, a near shootout at a diner, and Diddy acting like he's the final boss in a crime thriller. Today, we're spilling the tea on rapper Kid Cudi's wild testimony, a tense, almost brawl with Suge Knight, and why prosecutors are trying to lock Diddy up for life with racketeering charges. Is this a criminal empire or just a jealous ex spiraling? Oh, and we've got new deets on the infamous freak-offs and what the jury's thinking. Let's get it. Let's set the scene. It's December 2011 and Diddy's ex Cassie Ventura is vibing with Kid Cudi, real name Scott Mescudi, the man on the moon legend. Diddy? He's big mad. On May 22nd, 2025, Cudi strolled into Manhattan's federal court like he was hitting a red carpet. White tee, light jeans, black leather jacket, yawning like he's chilling at a coffee shop, not testifying against a music mogul. Most witnesses rock suits, but Cudi's out here serving Gen Z energy, and I'm here for it. Cudi told the jury that Cassie called him in a panic, saying Diddy had her address and might roll up to his Hollywood Hills home. She was shook, saying Diddy had hit and kicked her during their 11-year relationship. Cudi, being a real one, took her to the Sunset Marquis Hotel to keep her safe. But when he got home, chaos. His security cameras were tampered with, Gucci Christmas gifts were ripped open like Diddy was hunting for clues, and his poor dog was locked in the bathroom, jittery and on edge ever since. That pup was so traumatized, it probably needed a doggy support group. The courtroom lost it when the judge asked if Cudi would testify about what the dog thought. Giggles. Even Judge Aaron Subramanian couldn't keep a straight face. Cudi called Diddy, screaming, "Motherfucker, you in my house." Diddy, cool as a villain in a Bond flick, was like, "What's up? I'm just waiting for you." Cudi wanted to square up, but he was like, "Hold up, Diddy might have a squad. I'm not catching a fade over this." So he filed a police report, which prosecutors showed in court. Then things went pyro. In early 2012, someone sliced open the soft top of Cudi's Porsche and tossed a Molotov cocktail inside. Photos shown to the jury revealed a scorched hole in the roof and burn marks on the leather seats. Cudi's dog sitter called him, freaking out, and he rushed home to see the wreckage. Cassie had testified that Diddy threatened to blow up Cudi's car during Paris Fashion Week in 2012, saying it wouldn't be by his hands, and he'd be out of the country. Side-Eye Cudi's team confirmed this to the New York Times in 2023, saying, "This is all true." At a 2012 Soho House meeting in LA, Cudi confronted Diddy, describing him as staring out the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. Cudi was like, "What about my car?" And Diddy gave him a cold, "I don't know what you're talking about." Years later, at another Soho House run-in, Diddy vaguely apologized for all that bullshit, but Cudi wasn't buying it, telling the jury, "I knew Sean Combs was violent." Prosecutors say Diddy ordered the arson, pointing to court filings that allege he had his crew slice open the convertible top and drop a Molotov cocktail inside. They're using this to build their racketeering case, saying Diddy used his bad boy empire to orchestrate crimes like this. But Diddy's defense, led by attorney Brian Steele, is like, "Nah, Cassie was playing both these dudes." Steele even asked Cudi, "Cassie played you and Sean, true?" Cudi admitted the drama got out of hand, but stood firm that Cassie told him Diddy was abusive. What's your take? Was Diddy out here plotting like a crime lord, or is this just peak ex-boyfriend pettiness? Drop it in the comments. Team racketeering or team jealous ex? Now let's talk about the spiciest near miss in this trial. Diddy's almost showdown with Suge Knight at Mel's Diner in LA. Suge, the former Death Row Records boss, is serving a 28-year sentence for a 2015 hit and run. Back in the 90s, his label and Diddy's bad Boy records were straight-up enemies, fueling the East Coast-West Coast rap war, think Biggie versus Tupac vibes. On a random night in 2008, during one of Diddy's alleged freak-offs, Cassie testified that Diddy's security guard, Damian D-Rock Butler, spotted Suge in an Escalade at Mel's Diner around 4 a.m. D-Rock, who introduced himself as Biggie's boy, had a tense stare-down with Suge. Court filings reveal Suge was allegedly passed a gun by someone in one of 4 black SUVs that pulled up. D-Rock and Diddy's assistant, David James, bolted back to Diddy's crib where Cassie was crying, begging Diddy not to do anything dumb. But Diddy, he was locked in. Cassie said he put on a black face mask, black clothes, and grabbed 3 handguns from a safe, sitting in the back of his silver Lincoln Navigator with the guns on his lap. James, at the wheel, testified he felt a weird sense of calm, probably because he was low-key terrified. Cassie was screaming, "Please don't do anything stupid," but Diddy ordered James to floor it to Mel's. By the time they got there, Suge was gone. Cuts to reenacted audio clip with deep voice. Suge was like, "If Diddy showed up with 3 guns, he better be ready to use them, cause I ain't backing down." When asked if he was strapped at Mel's, Suge just chuckled and said, "Harvey, you know I'm all about my Bible now." Cackle's classic Suge dodge. But you know he was probably packing heat back then. Prosecutors are using this to show Diddy's violent side, arguing he relied on enforcers, like D-Rock and James, to carry out his dirty work, which ties into the racketeering charge. James quit soon after, saying it was the first time he felt his life was in danger working for Diddy. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo fought hard to keep this story out, saying it's irrelevant, but the judge let it stay, calling it key to the RICO case. The prosecution didn't call Suge to testify. His larger-than-life vibe could have been a jury game-changer. Okay, one courtroom moment that had me gagged. Frederick Zemmour, the general manager of the L'Ermitage Hotel in Beverly Hills, took the stand to spill on Diddy's hotel stays. Apparently, Diddy checked in under aliases like Frank Black, Frank White, or Ryan Lopez, straight out of a spy movie. Staff had to stock his rooms with fruit, chocolate, vodka, and keep the thermostat at a crisp 75 degrees. They also sprayed air freshener outside his door. Oh, and housekeeping noted excessive amounts of baby oil and candle wax spills, so rooms needed a deep clean after Diddy's visits. One time, they found wax on carpets and nightstands, and the front desk had a $1,000 buffer for damages. Baby oil and wax. Diddy was living like a scented candle influencer, not a cartel boss. Prosecutors are trying to spin this as part of Diddy's criminal enterprise. But, hold up, is this racketeering or just a dude who loves a vibe? The jury was probably like, what does this have to do with the charges? When the defense didn't even bother cross-examining Zemmour, you know it's a stretch. This feels like the prosecution's throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. Stick to the arson and gun runs, y'all. This hotel stuff is giving filler episode energy. Now let's talk about the core of this trial, the freak-offs. Prosecutors allege Diddy orchestrated these drug-fueled, days-long sex parties, coercing women like Cassie into participating with male escorts, often recording them to blackmail them into silence. Cassie testified that Diddy called these freak-offs a job, even when she was on a break with him, and he'd get explosive if she used drugs with anyone else. She said she was heavily dependent on opiates during their relationship, and Diddy once overdosed on painkillers in February 2012 after a freak-off and a party at the Playboy Mansion. Sheree Hayes, an exotic dancer nicknamed the Punisher, testified about his first freak-off with Diddy and Cassie at Trump Tower, where he was tipped $1,200. Hayes said he was hired up to a dozen times, describing marathon sessions involving drugs and sex. Makeup artist Myla Morales also testified about a 2010 incident at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where she woke up to Diddy yelling, "Where the F is she?" before storming into Cassie's room. Morales heard yelling and screaming and saw bruises on Cassie's face later. Prosecutors showed the jury photos from Diddy's Miami mansion raid in March 2024. AR-15 parts, a .45 caliber handgun, 25 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of Astroglide, a rubber duck, and drugs like cocaine and magic mushrooms. A rubber duck? What kind of party is this? They're saying this proves Diddy's enterprise supplied these freak-offs, but the defense is like, these were consensual sex parties, not a crime syndicate. They even argued Cassie was a loving partner who partied willingly, pointing to her jealousy over Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. This is where the racketeering charge gets tricky. Prosecutors need to prove Diddy ran an organized operation, not just through wild parties. Let's zoom out for a sec. The jury, 12 New Yorkers and 6 alternates, has been glued to this drama since May 12th, 2025. They're a mix of folks who've read about Diddy's allegations and seen that 2016 hotel footage of him attacking Cassie, which he apologized for after it leaked. Judge Aaron Subramanian keeps them on a tight leash, banning them from discussing the case and suggesting they go on a bike ride or watch the Knicks over the Memorial Day weekend. He even praised juror number 5 for being conscientious after they arrived 10 minutes early. The jury's seen graphic evidence, explicit freak-off photos, texts from Cassie's devices, and that scorched Porsche. They've heard from 16 witnesses so far, including Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, who testified that Diddy demanded $20,000 from her for expenses after learning about Cassie's fling with Cudi. She took out a loan, wired the money, and got it back days later with no explanation. Posts on X show fans are split. Some are like, Diddy's going down with 96 seized devices, videos, and drugs. Others think the prosecution's overreaching, saying it's just a bad breakup, not a cartel. The jury's got a tough job sifting through this, and with the trial set to wrap by July 4th, 2025, they're under pressure to decide if Diddy's a kingpin or a hot mess. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Diddy a racketeering mastermind or a jealous ex who went way too far? Prosecutors are piling on evidence. Cudi's break-in and car fire, the Suge night diner run, the freak-offs, and assistants like George Kaplan cleaning up drugs and baby oil. They allege Diddy's bad boy empire was a front for kidnapping, arson, and sex trafficking between 2004 and 2024. CNN's Elliot Williams says they've nailed Diddy's patterns of violent behavior, but the RICO charge needs a clear organizational structure. Diddy's defense, led by Tini Geragos, is fighting back, saying this is all personal drama. They paint Cassie as living 2 lives, manipulating Diddy and Cudi, and argue the freak-offs were consensual. They've even leaned into Diddy's womanizing, with his lawyers admitting he's a woman beater, but not a trafficker or racketeer. Yikes. The hotel testimony? They're like, that's just Diddy being extra, not a crime. My take, Diddy's in deep on the sex trafficking and coercion charges. The Cassie abuse evidence is brutal, but racketeering, it's feeling like a stretch, like trying to fit a soap opera into a Scorsese flick. The jury's gotta decide if this adds up to a criminal empire or a series of bad choices fueled by ego, jealousy, and drugs. With a life sentence on the line, the stakes are high. Whew, what a ride, right? From Diddy allegedly creeping into Cudi's house to that gun-toting Mel's Diner mission, this trial is serving drama hotter than a viral TikTok. And poor Cassie, stuck in the middle of Diddy's rage and control, my heart breaks for her. Soft music. No one should endure that abuse, and I hope she's finding peace with her husband, Alex Fine, and their kids. Same for Cudi's dog. Someone get that pup a treat. What's your verdict? Is Diddy running a criminal empire, or is this a toxic ex imploding? Hit the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more true crime tea with a side of shade. We'll be back next week with updates, including testimony from Diddy's former employee Capricorn Clark and the LA Fire Department. Stay tuned, fam.